First Tennessee Park has proven to be an incredible home field advantage for Nashville Soccer Club in their inaugural season tonight. They play host to the United Soccer League Game of the Week against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who know that man all too well. Matt Pickens, his 300th professional appearance against his former club. Joined by Devin Kerr, Mike Watts alongside. You look at the Eastern Conference standings, and both these teams are remarkably beneath the red line. Nashville games in hand, much peachier scenario for Tampa Bay. It's start to win now or watch the season slip away altogether. Now, Devin, when you think about Nashville, this is a team that's got to ninth place on the back of their great home results.
First Tennessee Park has been absolutely amazing for this squad. Nashville SC, it's a tale of two teams. At home, fantastic. Could make the argument that they could maybe be in one of those top four positions. They go away on the road, 2-6-7. Both of those wins, by the way, coming early on in the season before the month of June. So haven't consistently been able to get it done away from home. Good news for them. 5 out of 7 games remaining in the season, 5 of those at First Tennessee Park.
4 in the next 12 days off a 10-day layoff. For Tampa Bay, there are some teams beneath them that they can go out and try and get points against and maybe make a late climb.
The opportunity definitely there, especially with games in hand. When you look at the standings, they've got 2-3 games on teams sitting in the top 8 in front of them, but it is do or die. You got to go out and consistently put points up on the board, more specifically get wins.
Well, both these teams at times have struggled to score goals, and for Nashville, boy, of late, it's just been a cavalcade of errors.
For a team that's so stout defensively, they're tied for 3rd in shutouts, 2nd in goals against, only behind Pittsburgh, the Riverhounds, who have 19. And they're 8th in passing efficiency, 79%. To be that good defensively and then turn around and go the other direction and put forth the performances we've seen, that's not appropriate enough. They have to do a better job in the final third if they want to get into the playoffs.
Luckily, they are much better offensively at home than they are on the road, but still not good enough. For Tampa Bay, it seems like they finally found a striker in form. It's Sebastian Guinzotti.
4 goals in 3 games, including the hat trick versus NCFC, and they've needed him because the statistics they've put together offensively over the last 12 matches have been absolutely abysmal. Outside of Guinzotti, Junior Flemings, Bonomo, and Ristov are the only other 3 to score, and they've only accounted for 7 goals in those 12 games. So they need help offensively. Nice to see Guinzotti in form.
And Ristov, the all-time leading goal scorer for the Rowdies, is in the lineup tonight. Just 1 goal in the last 12 games. For Nashville, what an expansion season it's been on and off the field. But if they don't start putting results together now, may all be for naught. And for the Rowdies, 7 points out, 6 games to go. Unthinkable in March, but now in September, it's now or never. Nashville skyline, they've had great attendance at First Tennessee Park and Nissan Stadium this year. They're headed toward MLS. Nashville in the USL Game of the Week taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Devin, we meet the Nashville starting order, and they only make 2 changes. Tucker Hume and Alan Wynn move into the order. Washington and Mensah to the bench.
Both teams interesting enough, doing some posturing though, switching into 4-back systems. Leon Doyle, Bradley Bourgeois will get things going. Kosuke Kimura, like him, his versatility, his ability to move from the defensive to offensive side of the ball. Michael Reed coming over early in the season from San Antonio. Gotta love Matt LaGrassa alongside him in the middle. And again, you gotta get number 12 and number 10, Moloto and Hume, going early on, because on the other side of the ball, Tampa Bay Rowdies, they really do possess the quick fire option and opportunity going forward. Guenzati, we talked about his recent run of form. Ristov, if you've been under a rock, that's okay. You're looking at one of the most prolific forwards in all of USL over the past couple seasons, has set all kinds of records, like the mid-season acquisition, I guess you could call it late season actually. Tarek Morad, number 24, they rotate him between center back and left back, but now is the time that that lineup has to come together. Again, both squads possess so much talent. What are you gonna do with it?
Big game for both sides, both beneath the playoff line, and the Rowdies trying to get forward in the early going. Rowdies in their green and gold hoops. It's the blue jerseys for Nashville at home, moving left to right on your screen. USL Game of the Week. Kosuke Kimura was honored pregame alongside Matt Pickens, both reaching the 300 pro game plateau in this past week. Pickens doing it tonight. Michael Reed, first captain for this club, obvious pick. Moloto curling, header is up and too high. Tucker Hume's going to be an obvious target on those lengthy balls across. Gary Smith, year number 1 at the helm of this expansion side, retired at 27 years old, and previously coached in Atlanta in the NASL and League One in England. And of course, that run with the Colorado Rapids that resulted in an MLS Cup. As Nashville fans really excited about the future under a coach that's proven to win in this country already. Ball deflects and belongs to the Rowdies. And perhaps the reason they're going to that 4-back is because Dominic Oduro is out that yellow card suspension. Devin, it sort of changes the options available to former center back Neil Collins that sees those defensive ranks shrink even further.
The wide play by Nashville, very impressive as well. Boluak and Yodi, Alan Wynn especially, love him on the right and the left, rotate him back and forth. More so of a mainstay on the right side of the pitch, but does such a good job just interchanging in play. Again, we spoke about how good they've been at home. Hopefully we'll see a nice performance from them offensively tonight, and those road struggles don't funnel over into First Tennessee Park.
Lebo Moloto came over from Kansas City, pinged outside to Kimura. His defense up to the task with the left back Zach Portillos on defense. Chipped long and out of the reach of Guenzati. Pressure at the back of Akinyoti from Roseboom. Somehow we've buried the lead. Joe Cole playing tonight. And in the thick of it all there, Guenzati, incredible goal-scoring form, and, well, the obvious storyline for the Rowdies' playoff hopes. Joe Cole's, well, maybe the biggest name in the league right now. Didier Drogba might argue, but English legend.
Probably have to steer towards Joe Cole because Didier Drogba hasn't been playing or featuring for Phoenix Rising much this year. Early on this season, but trying to get him back into full match fitness. Their coach, Shantz, saying that he's about there, which means to the rest of us that he is human. Although apparently the things that he's still doing with the ball at his feet are absolutely amazing, unsurprising.
I love what David Beckham said to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. 500 goals, that means you're really, really old. Didier Drogba probably somewhat in the same vein as it bounces away from Cole. Portillos, who's dealt with injuries again this year. Moloto pulls away for Doyle. And now Justin Davis. Nioti and Reed trying to combine. We'll find Kimura, the 34-year-old native of Japan. Kimura. Melodo, that'll deflect on the way through off of Portillo's. Reed got a touch, and there's Kwadwo Poku, a Colt hero for NYCFC in their first couple of years, joining the Rowdies mid-season. What a slip ball throw! Pickens comes out, and Pickens commits the foul. It's a penalty. Or so it seems. Well, now I don't think anybody can quite figure it out.
Has to be, doesn't it? What a ball played in behind. Ristoff in one-on-one. You're going to get a look exactly right here. Touches it to the right side of Pickens. Yep, Pickens clips him. Referee's got to point to the spot 100%.
Well, the longtime Rowdy is put square on the spot now, having conceded a penalty here in the 6th minute of play. And the plot thickens as Malik Badawi makes his first big decision of the event. Rowdies fans never thought it would come to this. Ristoff against Pickens. Ristoff puts it in. And the Rowdies on the road, their longtime Achilles heel, have an early lead against Nashville.
First Tennessee Park is stunned. Matt Pickens cannot believe it, disagreed with the referee's decision. Uncharacteristic of him to make a mistake like this in the early moments of a game, yet alone over the course of an entire match. Ristoff gets very coy with his performance, just steps up, puts it right down the middle. Bonomo had hit the last 3 in regulation for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Ristoff has no problem, as we've seen him do in the past, and just buries it, giving his club the early lead.
His first goal since July, his 7th of the year, comes just barely into the 7th minute of play. And the Rowdies score the 6th goal all year against Nashville at home. Devin, you and I came in tonight, and we thought no chance this ends 0-0, and if anything, we think multiple goals for both sides. It just has that feel coming into the night, doesn't it?
It's all about who shows up because, again, talent-wise, 2 of the best in the USL. They possess so much capability on both sides of the ball, but you never know exactly who's going to show up. We've seen it with Nashville. They've had some epic duels with Louisville this season. Tampa Bay Rowdies have had some solid sparring partners as well, and they've taken down big teams, the likes of Real Monarchs. We've seen them deal with Louisville, Pittsburgh as well. So both these squads more than capable of getting the job done. Again, just been too streaky.
These teams finished 1 goal apiece in St. Pete in June, down in Florida. All clipped across by Melodo, nothing to it there. Melodo scored in the 22nd minute, one play that, in hindsight, Neil Collins, the head coach for the Rowdies, referred to as one big individual mistake. And Leon Taylor scored in the final 10 minutes. Ristoff will watch this run out and accept a corner kick. Well, how about Georgi Ristoff? And he needed that in the worst kind of way, didn't he?
We referenced their scoring woes in the open and their inability to get other guys involved, and the ones that have really pushed them in the past to all the greatness we've come to know for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Ristoff has got to be at the top of that list. And you referenced it, just 1 goal since that July goal that he picked up.
Service across, gets touched in the air. Bourgeois, followed by Ristoff, is cleared for a moment. It's worth noting the Rowdies this year, he's scored now in 7 individual games. Every instance the Rowdies have won, and they've scored multiple goals.
That's good to know. Anytime they have scored multiple goals as well, to back that stat up, Mike, they've gone 8-0-3. So they're undefeated when they can find it more than once. And anytime you can tickle the nylon, that's a good thing. Make things happy. I'm sure Neil Collins is happy with his boys early on, coming on the road. Showing some solid pressure. Definitely wasn't a gift by the referee. Mistake by Matt Pickens as the through ball came through. Great threaded ball in behind the back line. You have to wonder if there's any sort of fluctuation from a thought process standpoint and what went on, shifting to the four-back system, who was covering who. Regardless, Tampa Bay gets the early goal, and they're out and running.
Gorski plays it up the right-hand side. Gorski was the center back that came in and settled the whole defense down last year for the Rowdies. Has shifted out to the right with Diakite at center back, and Tarek Morad, who came in remarkably just this is 8th game mid-season, having not been signed by another club. We saw his debut in a USL Game of the Week back in August. We're just shocked that he hadn't been picked up. He's been very good.
There's Charleston Battery, Mike Anhauser and his boys. Couldn't believe that he was not only just being picked up, but that he hadn't been picked up by anybody all season long. It's not like it was a mid-season trade. Just fell out of favor at Louisville. James O'Connor electing not to renew his contract. One of just a few, as he kept most of his boys. And then just trialing around here and there, continued his training. Nice to see him back with the squad. Great defender.
Look at Allen Wynn. Nashville, to cap off our lengthy conversation about allowing multiple goals, 0-7-1 when they concede multiple this year. Big tug at Hume, goes unwhistled by Gorski. That could be a battle to watch. Hume against everybody.
A lot of times you'll see Hume standing up top by himself and just towers over everyone. That's not easy to do against Diakite, who represents the same height manner. They're both sitting right in between 6'4" and 6'5". It's all going to come down to individual talent, leaping abilities, what kind of balls are put in there for Tucker Hume to go challenge. Only 3 goals on the year, much more instrumental in terms of support, able to use that big frame, knock balls down for his teammates to run onto. And they can get him going. It's been impressive.
Morad could draw the foul against Akinyoti as Cole and the Rowdies drop back in. Knocked away from Hume, and a corner on the way. Diakite last to touch it. Cole, last year, Stu Campbell said, well, he could still have a job in the English Premier League. He's an assistant coach now, Devin, and part of the interesting conversation was, Neil Collins, did you ask for him to be an assistant coach, or was it thrust upon you? Says they have a great relationship.
It was interesting, never being in that situation. I said, Neil, you know, you are smart that you keep your A license, you go get it, and this opportunity presents itself. He said, yeah, I wanted Joel Cole right next to me. What a knowledge to have in the dressing room, and to be able to not only utilize him as a player, but to pick his brain in everything that he's been through, with all due respect to Neil Collins, because he's played at a very high level as well. There are very few people that can look across the bench at the likes of Joel Cole, international experience, all the Premier League, Champions League experience, so great asset to have.
And of course, Gary Smith can count on Matt Pickens, among others, on his coaching staff, so not as uncommon as you might think. Efrem Taku, Albanian mid-season addition to throw for Tampa Bay. Portillo, a little bit of pressure coming. Morad, Matt LaGrassa. Touch from Ristoff. Davis arrives. Reed for Kimura. It's been a deep lying back line for the Rowdies on the night. Meloto on the overlap. Reed looking for Davis. He misfired entirely. He was asked about rest this week. Maybe nice to get some downtime. Said they did a decent amount of work. They've been off for 10 days, going back to their 3-3 draw at North Carolina. Brandon Allen scored twice, Meloto once. They trailed 3-1, came back, getting a draw, but now they face 4 games, Devin, in 12 days that could well define their season.
Still shocked that it's even in consideration for that. You and I have chatted about it quite a few times, where both of these teams earlier on this year, we would have easily placed them in the top 8 and go into the postseason. Not the case whatsoever. And you do have to kind of dissect both squads individually as to exactly what's going on. We've talked about the inability on the offensive side of the ball for Nashville. They go out, they get Brandon Allen. He made an impact right away and has since cooled off a touch, but trying to get him back into form. And then the Rowdies. People retiring, new head coaches, injuries. I mean, it's been a revolving door for the Tampa Bay Rowdies and exactly what they're going to do. I'm sure that it's going to be an interesting offseason for them, but at least they're relevant still. You know, that you would hate to see a squad like this drop even further. And the Eastern Conference, the way it's playing out, you kind of have an idea at the top 4. The rest could fluctuate over the next 3 weeks, and it could be totally different from what you're seeing right now.
Kimura. Knocked wide by Meloto. Kimura arrives. Good curling cross. Diakite, the header. It's aimed at Hume. And a corner for Nashville in the 17th minute.
Quality overlapping run from Kosuke. They've really compacted the middle of the field. Bolu, Michael Reed, LaGrossa, and Wynn are all tucking in very tight. You can even see Meloto going ball hunting a bit, trying to get involved. Like to see him stay higher to provide that liaison between Hume and the middle of the pitch. But the outside backs have been impressive so far.
Michael Reed left that a bit short, deflects down, and the Rowdies clear. Justin Davis pushes that. He's got a cannon of a left foot. Alan Wynn. Wynn getting all the way to the byline and lets it leak out. Well, Nashville doing something really special tonight, and also for their home game against the Charleston Battery on Saturday, with Hurricane Florence pushing through the southeast United States. Evacuees have made their way to Music City. And for those that came to the box office today from North Carolina, South Carolina, or Virginia, they got a free game ticket, an experience that'll continue through Saturday. It's a way to allow sports to help bring a fractured community together, maybe give a couple hours of reprieve. So really brilliant from a club that, to their credit, aren't exactly struggling to sell tickets right now.
Not just the club, but the city as well. When I saw this news come across the wire, I thought, wow, what absolute class. And, you know, personally, it hits home. In 2017, down in the southeastern part of the United States, hurricane came through. I evacuated with my family, ended up, guess where? Nashville. Everybody there took such great care of us. Unfortunately, couldn't get myself a game in.
No.
Couldn't get myself a game in there, but the community was so great to everyone there, and they were just so polite to everyone. And for them to reach out and extend that olive branch. Hey, no problem. We know what you're going through. It may not be a lot, but happy to help in any way that we can. That's beyond class from Nashville SC.
Little touch onward from Meloto. 7th minute goal, a penalty conceded by Matt Pickens on a day he's really being celebrated. His former club and his former teammate Georgie Rist off the early goal. Cutting horizontal run, LaGrossa returns to win. Akinyoti. Kimura, curling effort, ball in front is in! Put in by Limo Melodo, his 7th of the year in Nashville, has responded. And another picture-perfect service from Kimura.
We said Melodo was ball hunting. Why not go get it right there in the box, big guy? You seen him drift out to the right side of the pitch, getting frustrated, not enough service. He said, okay, I'll go get it myself. He's smart, tucks in behind Tucker Hume, makes that back post run. The ball is whipped in by Kosuke, and Melodo, after it's put on a platter, finds that near post, beats Daniel Vega, and is able to knot things up at 1.
His 7th goal matches his goal-scoring tally from last year with Swope Park Rangers when they reached the USL Cup final. And Melodo and Nashville in the 20th minute have leveled matters. We knew this was going to be a good game.
You ready? Saw it coming. We were hoping both squads were going to show up. They've been impressive so far.
And the Rowdies are up and at 'em here. Let's be frank. The Rowdies on the road.
I'll be Devin.
Yeah, bad. They've been bad. It's been that way for years. And so there is an element of Groundhog Day that you have to think about in their mentality. They finally got a big result on the road a couple weeks ago against North Carolina. Hume being tugged heavily. Diakite sidesteps it out.
Anytime you're chatting with a manager, and before you can basically get the entire sentence or wording out of your mouth, and he says, we know we've got a problem. We know we've been bad. That is not a good thing. They've addressed it in certain areas. He said, you know, that's maybe something we can progress further in the offseason. We've got a job ahead of us. I'd like to focus on that.
Offside flag is up here. A little give and go action with Davis.
That's the thing for the Rowdies is, if you look at it, man, Neil Collins isn't happy with his boys. They are speaking and looking at him.
Yeah.
But you look at the wins that they've had. So they've had 4 wins versus teams in the top 8. And we're talking about the top 8 right now. 3 of them came before the departure of Stuart Campbell. Great wins, by the way. Bethlehem, Ottawa, and oh, by the way, Real Monarchs. The problem is, the only other win they have is versus Indy 11, July 21st. It was a week after Ristov got that goal that you referenced. So, again, offensively, they've had some trouble as well. And for the likes of Tampa Bay Rowdies, you just think of them, when they're mentioned in a sentence, you think high power, high offense, you know, you remain compact. Even their manager, Neil Collins, says, you know, my team, I don't really want to hold the ball that much. When we have possession, I want to go forward. I want to go with pace and a purpose. That hasn't been the case recently.
Said they have been guilty of possession without a lot of cutting edge, so to speak. Melodo, Hume, a lot of texture on that. Maybe drew the defense a bit out of shape. The win. Swerves it to Kimura. He's had wonderful service from this wing so far. Pushing by Portillos. Got the service in. Aimed it at Hume. Still alive toward Wynn. Cole snaps it down. Kept by Reed, and now Win again for Nashville. Akinyoti, Reed. And look, on the other hand, and I agree with Neil Collins, the performances have been better. The last 5 games, he feels like they've finally found what they've been looking for. But this is not a team filled with guys that he thinks fits what he wants to do, and it's hard to implement mid-season when the games come fast and furious. And so, to your point, it's going to be a very interesting offseason.
I made the comment earlier that they haven't had back-to-back wins all season long, except for the first 2 games of the season. You can't expect to make it into the playoffs when you have a statistic like that. You can actually dissect that a little bit further. They haven't had back-to-back results in general. 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 ties since early July. So you're alternating and fluctuating beyond belief. Win, loss, draw, win, loss, draw. That can't be the case. again, there's just too much talent on the field for that to happen.
Like Guinzotti's a little frustrated, thought he had been pulled by Davis. Ristoff in the 7th, Melodo in the 20th. 1 goal apiece. Second all-time meeting between these two clubs. Foul against Akinyoti. Good turn by LaGrassa. Melodo, a goal already on the day. Strides into this. Blasts it out of play. Well, there's Daniel Vega. And we asked about the difference between Cody Mizell, who didn't make the trip, and Akira Fitzgerald, who's the backup on the night. He said quantifiable experience, games played. Signed over from Miami FC of the NPSL, former NASL Gold Glove winner, and the Argentine trying to settle things down for the Rowdies before it's too late. This is 6th appearance with the club.
He has to. Unfortunately for Cody Mizell, not his best season. You and I chatting off camera and just saying, you know, he was definitely much better last year. Just didn't roll over in his performances this year. The inconsistency that we're referencing from the entire squad was, unfortunately for Mizell, much worse in between the pipes. Very up and down, and again, world-class saves. You turn the corner, watching balls fall through his hands into the back of the net, gifting things right on the doorstep. Very uncharacteristic of Cody Mizell.
Yeah, and if I were him, I'm sitting at home right now saying the center backs changed every game.
It's very difficult to deal with as a goalkeeper, but again, it's not just letting goals in, it's the manner in which he was doing it. A lot of it was his fault. He was letting things go right in front of him, and he was being hung out to dry in certain areas, but he was also putting himself behind the 8 ball in a lot of spots as well.
Well, last year he could be written in big, bold black Sharpie on the lineup card for Mike Jeffries in Charlotte. Try and reclaim that form years to come. He's still a pretty young player at 26. That goalkeeping position. Davis to throw for Nashville. A lot to like about what Nashville's brought to the table today. Hearing the byline. Hume, Davis. Kimura, Melodo. One too many of those scenarios for Nashville, though. They do put Tampa Bay on their heels. Melodo will circle back. Able to get it through. Hume is there. Vega gets down. Knocks it aside. Oh, silent assassin Hume today.
Morad's got to be better defensively. Thought the first ball should have been released by Melodo and almost pirouettes in the middle of the pitch, turns around, finds Tucker Hume streaking to the back post. Eric Morad has to slide over, understand exactly what's going on in that 4-back system. Again, he's used to being the lone soldier out on the left. As he's shifting over, he's got to pull in Zach Portillos alongside him, communicate better.
Hume, big body, 6'5". His grandfather played for the Dallas Cowboys. It's in his blood to be a little bit physical. Played Tar Heels at North Carolina. His brother Walker has been around the block professionally as well. Nice pass to open up play. Meloto swerving, finding Hume, plays it back, looking for Meloto. If it all comes off, it's highlight reel stuff.
Nashville's starting to figure this out. Tampa switched into their three-back system of sorts. It's just fluctuating back and forth. Morad really struggling on the left, though. Stepping up into the middle alongside Lance Roseboom, and you can see good ball in behind. And you said you like what Nashville's brought to the table. I agree. Not only what they've brought to the table, but the response. The response coming off the goal. Heads didn't droop. No relaxation in the emotional area or the energy level. They counterpunched right away. Got to give credit to Gary Smith and his boys.
Win, and a good slide from Efreem Taku. And another set piece for Nashville. Michael Reed, one of the first signings, the original captain, Nashville, and quite simply, Gary Smith says, he brings and fits into what I want. Reed. Vega tried to get a punch to that. Kept alive by Kimura. And this will bounce out in front of Kwadwo Poku. Poku running upfield with Joe Cole on his right. And it's knocked off his foot. One touch too many. And if that is not the most polar opposite levels of athleticism on a breakout I've seen in a long time in this league, I don't know where to put my finger on a better one.
Give him a break.
Cole was keeping up.
He was there. He was there. Still got that quick step. Should have released the ball, though. Great defending by Nashville, sliding over. Joe Cole was definitely on the back post and readily available.
Definitely the kind of defending PK Subban would be impressed by. A good old 2-on-1.
There you go.
Winzati. Oh, he's done really well here, but Bourgeois has recovered. When it became a two-man game, the Rowdies had pulled away. Cole. Poku. Joined by Portillos in the attack. If you're the Rowdies, you have to just breathe regular. You finally have the ball at your feet. It's a near 60-40 split possession right now.
They've never been one to shy away from a challenge. And on the offensive side of things, characteristically, they usually have no problem seceding possession to their opponents. And they can chase, but again, it's are they able to remain compact and then explode going the other direction? You just saw a second ago, questionable decision-making coming down the stretch, but Joe Cole did a good job coming out of the middle. Nice run to the back post. Couldn't find him. That's what they're going to want to need. Again, Gary Smith and his squad, they will put together 300, 400, 500 passes easily in a match. Very efficient on the ball, especially right around the middle of the park, what you're seeing right now. Meloto will drop in. Bolu right alongside him. Interchanging play from Wynn and LaGrassa. All to try and get something right in the box. Those long balls into Tucker Hume up top.
To your point, they just crossed 200 passes in the game. Ball through. Meloto steps on the brakes, keeps it alive, knocks it off the outside of the net. Meloto's able to pirouette and send that in. Nashville's in a frenzy.
A South African, their little magician for Nashville FC. You'd like to continue to see him get the ball in areas like this. Too frequent in the first half. He's been dropping back in support alongside Michael Reed and Alan Wynn. And that's okay. 1-2 touch passes here and there. But when he gets up top in those one-on-one situations, it's hard to bet against him.
Cole stepped forward, looked like Guinzotti again. Hit from behind on one of those aerial duels. Liam Doyle. Select is the official soccer ball of the United Soccer League. For the latest Select products, special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Poku. Lofting. Nothing there. Hume's there. Portillos. Hit on the volley by Cole. And did that deflect on the way through? Didn't.
Looks like it came off one of the Rowdies players. Nice to see the confidence by Joe Cole. No problem stepping up, taking that on the outside of the right foot. I'm just going to put that right here.
You ever play, what is that with the?
Charades?
Yes, thank you.
There you go. We'll get there.
Well, I was doing charades. All right.
I read your mind.
Yeah.
With your actions.
Yeah, that's
a thing and a guy in a place. Imagine playing charades with Gary Smith.
Just waiting to find out that he was like the charade champion.
Phenomenal.
Some previous stop along the way. Kimura. Davis settles. Akinyoti. Justin Davis for Hume. It's the shorter defender that got up and managed that. Portillos has dealt with injuries this year, most recently a knee. Wynn, who is questionable with a hip flexor coming into the night. Melodo. LaGrassa sweeping it forward. Melodo. Ball slipped through. LaGrassa trying to step by Portillos. There's a corner in the end for Nashville.
Nice ball movement by Nashville FC. Quick little ball in by Bolu. Matt LaGrassa trailing on the back post. They'll get a corner out of it. The back line of Tampa Bay Rowdies really struggling. They have been manhandled in the middle of the park by Nashville. Very impressive.
Service for Nashville, misses Doyle. Uh-oh, trouble brewing. Guinzotti streaking downfield away from Kimura, making his recovery run. Guinzotti on the brakes. Poku. Pickens gets down, keeps it in front of him, and cleared by Kimura. And that's the second major breakaway thwarted by Nashville. Still more off of Bourgeois. If you're Nashville, you got to clean that up sooner than later. Tampa Bay does not miss those opportunities all that often in a run-of-the-mill season.
Decision-making once again for the Rowdies coming down the stretch. Much better this time. Great ball on the doorstep for Poku. Pickens to the rescue. And to your point, Mike, That's very uncharacteristic of the Rowdies, home or away, to miss chances like that. And it's difficult to beat the General. So consistent on a regular basis. And midseason award winner for Best Beard.
Indeed. Portillo's. Little touch from Bourgeois. Kicked by Morad. And the Rowdies under control. They're 7 points out coming into the night. This is the lone USL game on this Tuesday evening. 6 games to go. Told you about it pregame, but 3 of those against teams thoroughly beneath the playoff line. 2 against teams that, well, in the end, could end up being those vaunted 6-point games. At Indy 11. Key among them. Teams still somewhat out in front of them within their reach, though. Diakite. Roseboom, just his 9th start of the year, the former Ottawa Fury captain, finally returning to health. Roseboom. Portillo's for wrist off. A little additional talk for Ristoff and Bourgeois. Lodo. Game's found a bit of a lull. Akinyoti. Here comes Wynn, dynamic as ever. Touch enough to slow him down from Taku. For Hume. Hume able to bring it down! After it near the goal line, Diakite clears. That ball moved in slow motion. And in the end, Diakite able to thwart the attack. Everything about that felt like it came out of nowhere. Service again, rising Diakite to meet it. And then a tug at Poku's shirt from Reed. Hume's gonna be regretting this.
He knows it. How does Vega not get a hand on it? As soft as Hume hits this over him, does so well to bring this down off his chest. How about the trailing run by Papa Diakite on the back post to clear it off the end line, but he's got to put more power behind it when he does get in to go one-on-one with Daniel Vega.
Hume on some kind of tear last few games in terms of creating chances. Scored twice against Richmond Kickers, which may not sound like a lot the way the Kickers are playing at this present juncture, but I don't think any goal scorer would say that. Dropping down up the right-hand channel. Wicked hop, and it does get hit back by Kimura.
As a striker, you'll definitely take whatever you can get, no matter how naughty or nice it is. Tucker Hume using every bit of that 6'5"-ish. I say ish because he looks much bigger than 6'5".
I know. I thought you were going to go lower, and I'm like, come
definitely
on now.
Not. No, he's easily 6'5" and more. He just does such a good job holding the ball up. A lot of times you'll see him bring something like that down and lay it off for an overlapping run coming from the middle of the pitch. That wasn't the case. Did such a good job positioning himself to get a strike off.
Good slide, but it falls to Poku. Poku facing up. Portillo's sending it across. Overhead kick. That stayed in play incredibly. Guinzotti. Wrist off. Finally got off a lengthy stretch on the scoring Schneid. Slide from Davis. This will fly out. 45th minute. Rowdies and Nashville SC level, 1 goal apiece. Nashville, it's expansion year, trying to make the playoffs, and well, this is a great feat of athleticism, isn't it?
Where to give him credit for all the goals he's been scoring as he keep this ball in. Just gets to the end line, knocks it back over. Well done to keep it in the run of play.
Fourth official wants to show us how much stoppage. There it is, 2 minutes. Had a little extra action out in front of him. Devin, you think about what the Rowdies took out of this first half. They get that early goal, and if you're Neil Collins, that's great. But Nashville has had more of the possession. They've created more opportunities, and you haven't exactly been clinical in the final third when the opportunity has arisen.
Nashville have looked the dangerous squad, and you've had to sit back and take those waves of attacks they've been throwing at you. And the Rowdies not doing a good job counteracting it in the final third on the other side of things. Just the 2 opportunities, the one decision-making not the best. You had Poku with Joe Cole streaking on the back post. The second time around, much better, able to get in one-on-one. Not able to beat Matt Pickens. Phenomenal save by Pickens, unsurprisingly. But they are having real trouble with all the interchanging play in the middle of the park by Nashville FC. Michael Reed, Alan Wynn, Bolu, LaGrassa, all those guys consistently overlapping each other. They're covering defensively. That's really hard as a player. You're always looking for your assignment, checking each and every shoulder, but not sure exactly what the tendencies of the players are going to be. And even Meloto stepping back into the middle. He comes back in, drops into a false 9, and comes even further. Then you have to account for Justin Davis, as we're seeing now in the overlapping run. So many players, so much space being exposed for Nashville SC. That's difficult for the Rowdies.
Coming up at halftime, El Chalice is lights out in Las Vegas. Is that my mic drop moment? We have other stuff at halftime too. Highlights, stats, and team of the week from the USL. 1 goal apiece at halftime, Devin.
Good start for the Rowdies. Better from Nashville over the course of the 45 minutes. Gary Smith's going to be happy about that. Neil Collins has to find a way to get the counterattack going and going more frequently. Seen it twice. That's not going to be enough. And when you do get those chances, you better finish them.
Well, diverse Nashville crowd today as they welcome fans from all over the Southeast. 1 goal apiece. The Rowdies desperate for victory. Wrist off. Embarrassing Pickens going right down the middle, but Meloto's got his answer. It's 1 goal apiece. Highlights, stats, and more coming up at the half. First Tennessee Park in Nashville. It's Nashville Soccer Club and Tampa Bay Rowdies on level terms, 1 goal apiece at halftime. Joined by Devin Kerr, Mike Watts. How about we tell you about the upcoming USL Game of the Week schedule? Because, Devin, amazingly, we're down to the last 2 weeks of our illustrious ESPN3 schedule. The Richmond Kickers are now a founding member of USL Division 3, so they're playing out the string this year as a team already eliminated. FC Cincinnati may, if results go the right way, be the #1 overall seed, clinch in the East with a win there.
It'd be hard-pressed for them not to finish it the way that they've been going. They can go unbeaten the rest of the season. They'll set the modern-day USL record for games unbeaten. That'll be 23. How about the Western Conference? Phoenix Rising an opportunity in their game right there, October 10th, to close out Las Vegas Lights. But past week, 3 teams, 3 different #1s. Real Monarchs, Phoenix Rising, Orange County, all vying for that top seed.
So you think we're having fun now? Wait until you see Las Vegas and Phoenix October 10th. There's going to be all kinds of things going on there. Well, Kelsey Steele got a chance to play basketball with one of the USL's best center backs. Forrest Lasso of FC Cincinnati gave her a real game.
How's it going, everyone? USL's Kelsey Steele here with FC Cincinnati defender Forrest Lasso. So we're well aware of what Forrest can do on the pitch, so today we're going to see what he's got on the court. We've got a game of horse going with a few questions in between. So Forrest, you want to get to it?
Let's do it.
Go.
Oh, let's go. Oh, pressure's on. Let's do it.
We got an H, people. So you're rally guy. Favorite part about North Carolina?
Ooh, sweet tea and barbecue.
MJ or LeBron?
Oh, that's like the Pele Messi question.
So there's only one right answer.
I mean, I'm definitely biased, so I'm MJ. We'll go with Bank this time.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, we got a letter.
Okay, sweet spot then on the court.
Top of the key. Why not?
Key, okay.
Oh, yes.
Whose play would you mirror the most?
Little size difference with Dwayne Wade. He was the reason I started watching the NBA.
Get out of here. What, only 5'6", 5'7" at 16, and now you're pushing 6'7" at 25. What is that like for you?
So being the small guy, I was like the run of the litter growing up. I was always the smallest guy on every team, and then once it started to grow, I would like to say I was more technically sound when I was younger and smaller. And as I kind of grew, I kept the technical part of my game, and then I also realized that I have the physical side. When it comes to the game, it's definitely been a blessing. It's a special tool or trait that not everybody has, obviously.
Killing me.
Needed that.
Being pulled in from that Cincinnati community, what do they bring to you guys?
Oh man, I've been playing this game since, I don't know, 3 years old. Everybody likes the game, not everybody loves the game, and when you go to Cincinnati, you can tell that there's 40,000 people that love it.
You're roommates with Jimmy. Tell me you've got a good story or two living with him over these last few months.
We've probably seen it on a few goal celebrations, but he's got absolutely no rhythm. He's probably going to hate that I told the world this, but he's, when it comes to dancing, this guy's pretty fun to watch.
No, that's short. Give it to the champ.
That was fun.
That'll do it for us today, Forrest. Thanks for coming along and bearing the heat with us. For now, that'll do it from Tampa.
Driver, it's in! There it is! 2-0 Orange and Blue. Now setting up the right score, and it's in! Does it again! Saved by Newton. Spagenberg with a diving save. Putting on a show today. Don't want to miss it. Richmond and Cincinnati, our next USL game of the week. On ESPN3 now, Nashville and Tampa Bay 1-1 at halftime. Devin, let's take a look at some news and notes from around the USL. Emmanuel Ledesma, MVP. He's certainly making his CV very impressive. Haji Berry, well, he's looking for that next goal to own a record in the USL. In Las Vegas, adios to El Chalice.
El Chalice says goodbye. But that organization isn't going to have a problem getting someone to steer them in the right direction. They still have Isidro Sanchez, at this point anyway, to help try and get them back into the playoff race. Manu, how can you not write him in pen? I've still got him in pencil because there's so many impressive performances around the league, but he has been beyond great for FC Cincinnati over their run.
Yeah, maybe Cameron Lancaster, maybe out in Phoenix, a couple options there. Here's the USL Team of the Week, and well, Tsubasa Endo hasn't done it all year, but he had a heck of a performance, a hat trick last time out.
Got his team ahead of FC Cincinnati with about 15 minutes to play, but the boys in blue and orange had something to say about that. There's two of them, Ledesma and Corbin Bone. Maxime Crépeau has 13 shutouts now on the season. That ties the league record. Endo, by the way, got it done a few weeks ago. 2 goals and an assist for his Louisville at Slugger Field. So again, a lot of talent, but Toronto FC2 haven't been that impressive. Only a few wins.
Strong work for Crépeau in the back, to be sure, as it's a halftime in Nashville, Tennessee, at First Tennessee Park. And the fans have enjoyed this first half, to be sure. 1 goal apiece. The early effort coming from Georgi Ristov off a penalty. Lebo Maloto in the 20th, the answer. We'll show you the goals from the first half. Get you ready for the second when we come back to the USL Game of the Week. Halftime in Nashville, and beach season has gone away, so you just wear items like that as a hat. It's 1 goal apiece between Nashville and Tampa Bay. Let's take a look at first half highlights. Plenty to get to, Devin. Really right from the outset, Tampa Bay probably looked their best first 10 minutes. Poku, great ball, and a penalty in the 6th minute.
Dictated their tempo almost immediately. Neil Collins obviously had some words for his boys to get them motivated. Ristov gets in alone. Pickens takes him down. Tries to lobby against it, but it's 100% a penalty. Ristov steps up, right down the middle, 1-0 Tampa Bay Rowdies.
What incredible reserve to do that against your former teammate. Right down the middle, and he breaks a 2-month scoring drought in the 7th minute, and it's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Kimura was excellent in this first half, and this service finding Maloto in the 20th.
They took over. It was a great reaction from Nashville SC at home, but the biggest thing for them was Maloto was hunting. He was frustrated he wasn't getting the ball. Does a good job tucking in behind Tucker Hume. No pun intended. Drifts to the back post. Excellent service from Kosuke and just able to finish it off. They continued on from there. They were continuing to dictate their own pace and do exactly what they wanted to do. Tampa Bay had 2 opportunities coming down the stretch of the first half. Poor decision making on the first one. Better on the second. Ball goes to the back post from Poku. Tries to find the far post against Pickens. Pickens, as he does, makes a fantastic save.
That's aimed off the post and in, but Pickens is there. And then Hume, best opportunity get a lead for Nashville comes in the 43rd.
The left side of Tampa Bay Rowdies has really struggled. Zachary Portillos and Morad alongside each other, switching from that 3-back to the 4-back. You've seen some opportunities come that direction. Koskei had his run. This time it's Tucker Hume. Does a great job bringing it down. Just can't get enough behind it to pick out the far post behind Daniel Vega.
Devin, the possession number didn't really surprise you in the first half when we spoke about it midway, does it now?
No. This is what Nashville does. They hold a lot of the ball. They put together a million passes. But the biggest thing for Nashville SC is how impressive they've been on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about how bad they have been and their conversion rate. Well, shots on target goals, a little bit better than what we've seen in the past.
A little bit. And for the Rowdies, this is a team that's made so many drastic changes to their roster that we wanted to make it a little more clear. These are 3 players that were crucial at different points this year who have retired. Marcel Schaefer is now the Wolfsburg sporting director. Tam McCandawary stepping away just a couple weeks ago. He was stepping in for Neil Collins at center back, who's now the manager.
It's been so difficult for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We alluded to it earlier. Cap that alongside injuries, as well as some departures from a personnel standpoint. Jack Blake goes over to Real Monarchs. Jochen Graf decides that he's going to get an opportunity. Ruthrino didn't really fit the system. Najim and his injury goes out early on this season. So you're talking about 6, 7, 8 pieces that they would have thought would have been integral pieces at the start of the 2018 season. No longer there, still finding a way to remain relevant.
In the end, 10 left, 10 came in, 7 left, and 2 season-ending injuries. So give or take, the numbers have about evened out. Here's the remaining schedule for Nashville. And there are reasons to think with games in hand that they should make the playoffs if they take care of the obvious business, especially in those latter 2 games.
The good thing, they're at home. That's the biggest thing here, including tonight's game. 5 out of 7 will be at First Tennessee Park, and that is massive for them because, again, they have not been great on the road. Got to deal with Anheuser and the Bowery. And then John Wolyniak and his squad can come in. Never know what you're going to get out of Red Bull 2. Tampa Bay Rowdies are going to have something to say about their schedule as well. Very manageable coming down the stretch. Martin Rennie and co. are going to come to town on September 26th. And then what are you going to get out of Mike Jeffries or Brendan Burke and Bethlehem Steel? You never know. 2 very capable squads just up and down in their performances.
Yeah, no team that they don't think they can beat right now that's left on their schedule. Nashville first touch to begin this second half of play. And Tampa Bay trying to find a second half goal. It's been so rare against Nashville and pull out an important win for their playoff hopes. Kimura, super impressive first half for Nashville, and this a nasty challenge and a yellow card for Joe Cole, who is on yellow card accumulation warning, so he's going to miss their next game against the Richmond Kickers next Saturday at Al Lang.
You can imagine a boatload went down at halftime. In conversation between Neil Collins and his boys, this probably wasn't one of the things they talked about. Morad once again giving the ball away, takes down Meloto. He's going to go into the book. It definitely was not Joe Cole.
My mistake. So
no, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's our frame of reference. Our apologies there, but that left side of the defense for Tampa Bay Rowdies really struggling. They're having trouble. Don't want to give up opportunities like this. Too dangerous from a set piece standpoint for Nashville. Michael Reed beyond impressive when he gets a look at a set piece.
Meloto. Ball snapped across and cleared by Hunter Gorski. And now a Rowdy player down. It is Morad that got the yellow card. That's his second in 8 games. He's nowhere near a yellow card accumulation suspension. Zotti steered to the ground by Bourgeois. Came from Tulsa and was actually recommended by Kosuke Kimura. He was with the Roughnecks last year when they made the playoffs under David Vaudreuil. But Bourgeois, Kimura, Svantesson among the many players that found themselves out of the equation this year. And now David Vaudreuil is as well.
Went south there in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah. That's an understatement. Tough year for the Oklahoma teams, although the energy have made things a bit of a race out in the West.
We've talked about this and said that this is a season of what could have been for Steve Cook. A run eerily similar to what happened at the end of last season. Under Jimmy Nielsen, the White Puma will be back in action next year. You and I are looking forward to that.
Hartford Athletic. Doyle snaps it upfield. Polku has arrived.
Took OKC something, what, 7 games to get in the win column?
I think it was more than that.
Ooh. Can't expect to be anywhere near the middle of the table, let alone the top of it, with performances like that.
Time to call the Hurt brothers over at Elias Sports Bureau and clear all this up. Poku by Morad Cole. And a foul by Bourgeois, just a little stiff arm to wrist off. Free kick for the Rowdies.
Credit to Neil Collins. He looks like he's still in playing weight.
It's only been like 3 months.
It goes fast, brother.
Well, set piece for the Rowdies here at the 50-minute mark. And it's up the left-hand channel. Ball served with Cole in mind. Taku misfires. Cole ratchets up again. Taku serving, and nothing there at all from Pickens. Doyle got to it. Diakite running around this back line, and ultimately it'll stay with the Rowdies for a throw.
For a team that was primarily based on the left-hand side of the pitch for most of the first half, they've done a good job getting Taku involved early goings here.
Whoa, there's some room here. Turning Guinzotti. Scored 4 in his last 3. And it stays with the Rowdies. This, their most prolonged effort of pressure so far in the game. And Bourgeois goes down.
Very balanced by the Rowdies. They need to take a page out of Nashville's book, what they were able to do in the first half. Talked about the interchanging play by the midfield that Gary Smith has assembled this evening. Rowdies need to do the same thing. Some overlapping runs, too predictable in their actions. Just really outside of the penalty kick, those 2 opportunities which were going in transition 100 miles an hour, one of which was very poor decision making, and the second a fantastic save by Matt Pickens. So right for the taking at certain points in time, but have to be calculated.
And Devin, you think about what Nashville has put together. Head coach comes in Gary Smith, an MLS Cup winner, a US Open Cup winner. Puts this roster together with the technical director in Mike Jacobs, who was previously with Peter Vermees, Sporting Kansas City. They go out in May and hire the former Liverpool Chief Executive Officer and Premier League CEO of the Year in Ian Ayre. And all of a sudden, this is a team that's ratcheted up for both commercial and sporting success in a way that very few future MLS expansion teams can argue that they've been able to put together. Nashville has built a real stable in the front office.
You got the Premier League CEO of the Year in 2016, and really part of the rebuilding that has been Liverpool against such a storied club in the English Premier League.
I know what you're doing.
I'm going here. Just let me run.
Yeah.
I'm my time to shine.
Today is your
Fantastic victory today, taking down PSG. Sorry, Neymar.
His ankles are still getting taped.
Mane put him on skates. But in all honesty, you're able to get talent on the field. You're able to get a great head coach in a city that is beyond excited about the opportunity in front of them. And then to put icing on the cake, you go out and get Ian Ayre. I mean, that is just a fantastic job by the front office, and you have to give credit. 3-2 win, by the way. 3-2 Liverpool.
London Woodbury came on for the injured Bradley Bourgeois, 28 for 22 for Nashville. As Morad really stuck in the challenge. Still conceded 2 road goals for PSG, so.
Doesn't matter in group play, thank you.
Slow your roll.
Group play, thank you.
Okay.
I'm done.
This ball bounced all the way, hit off the volley. Vicious but low driven from Maloto. Poku streaking through. Sizes up Doyle. Poku reverses Taku. Header will find Poku sidestepping Akinyoti and chipping it ahead. Taku's got a long run, and Davis will usher it out.
Again, the decision-making by the Rowdies. Why does Poku touch this over the back for Guenzati? You know your forward's been in form. You've got Nashville isolated in their back line. You can put him in a one-on-one situation where the ball's out in front of him to challenge Matt Pickens. Instead, he holds up, and you allow them to track back into the run of play, and they get 5, 6, 7 guys behind the ball. And the Rowdies have been at their best versus Nashville. It's been in transition, going very direct. They need to maintain that focus.
Hume keeps coming. Win. Advantage played for Nashville. Win charging forward and went right into the grasp of Diakite. And then it skips away from Davis. Of course, Nashville will have some company in the state of Tennessee. USL welcoming Chattanooga and Memphis 901 FC. How slick is Memphis's new logo?
They've gone out and, with all due respect, let's forget what they've done on home soil. They've gone across the pond and picked up a National League team as well in the AFL. They've got a team that's going to fluctuate in the National League North, I believe, 5th and 6th division. So that ownership group making moves even before their tenure has really even started from a playing standpoint.
That ball hit too far. Guenzati, who's been cool to hair tonight. Rowdies making a concerted effort to switch to 2 forwards, in part because the former center back currently acting as their head coach felt it was always harder for him to deal with 2 than 1. Taku showing good pace, continuing still. He's arguing that he was tripped up. Lone game in the USL tonight. Both teams beneath the number 8 position in the East. Nashville sitting in 9th. A win puts them up above playoff line. Well, Nashville has these rosy conditions despite being beneath the line. Rowdies can't say the same. They're in 13th now. Just 4 wins to show for their last 18 matches. And looking to pick up their first back-to-back wins of the year. Last year reached the Eastern Conference semifinal and had their hearts ripped out by Stefano Bonomo, who since crossed enemy lines and joined the Rowdies. Rowdies team ambitious as ever under Bill Edwards. Ownership group that expects a lot, deserves a lot, I think. Certainly put the resources forward. And that gorgeous home, Al Lang Stadium. This will get away from Portillo's. For Neil Collins, is there a move right now? Is
Not
this
yet.
something you change as a personnel thing?
Not yet. Don't be surprised if you see Junior Flemings come off the bench soon, or Leo Fernandez to get on the act. Those two should provide a nice spark. Surprised that you haven't seen Junior Flemings in the starting lineup. The guy that's pretty consistent over the course of the season, featuring in the starting 11, always making the trip though. They've been struggling. Guenzotti's been quiet. There's been a disconnect between the middle of the field, but that goal goes back to Gary Smith and his ability to clog it there. And their opportunities have been in front of them. They maintain possession so well. It's a good look at Bolu, and no problem moving the ball left to right. Alan Wynn will get involved. Michael Reed will ask for possession as well. And they just haven't been able to counterpunch at all. And that goes back to their counter-attacking options. If that's what they're going to stay with, which is probably their best bet tonight, got to get some fresh legs in sooner or later.
Melodo off of Morad. You would think Jaime Chavez could see his Rowdy debut in center forward. Guenzotti doesn't find an answer sooner than later. And then on the wing, Morel, Fernandez, and Flemings, their most electric options. Portillo's caught up in the air. Slip ball ahead, and Reed was offside.
Melodo, you'll be arguing with the third official. And linesman, keep your head on a swivel. Look exactly what's going on. Good stuff by Michael Reed, just tucking in behind. Pushed a little too far, raised the flag for the referee. But it really goes to show you the patience that Nashville possesses. You see 5, 6, 7 touches, nothing there. Move it to the other side of the pitch. Let's move the ball around. Made this reference before, but again, it really is chess, not checkers. And there he is.
Junior Flemings entering into the game as the Rowdies go to their bench. Taku. Throw coming for Hunter Gorski. It was Georgi Ristov that came off. He went 2 months or so without a goal. That's all over now. His 7th of the season. You mentioned typically has been a premonition for a Rowdy win that he's scored, and a premonition of multiple goals. Need to be the case tonight for the Rowdies to continue to dream of a late playoff push.
Still time for that. Georgie never really got going, did he?
Not on the run of play.
That early PK, and then from there, just lost in translation.
Ball wound out in front for Hume. 3 onrushing Nashville players. None could get the finishing touch. Davis. Hume onside. Crossing. Header snapped and saved. Right on the line by Vega. Akinyoti sent that in. And in the end, it was Maloto with the headed effort. Maloto got another touch to that. And Fleming's lost it.
Saw Justin Davis step up. I wanted him to have it, but he takes the back seat to great service by Tucker Hume. Nice ball into the back post to Maloto. Again, the left side of the Tampa Bay Rowdies defense is really struggling. The communication over there is definitely lacking. Portillos and Morad not on the same page. Nashville looking to exploit.
Maloto fouled by Nikite. Got his heel knocked. And what a gorgeous opportunity it is for the home side of Nashville in the 64th minute.
Quite a few Rowdies standing over this ball, not agreeing with the referee's decision. Diakite tight in behind Maloto, nothing there. He goes to the ground a little soft, definitely catches the back of his ankle. But that left leg had already started to go to ground, forces the referee's decision. How dangerous of an opportunity now. Expect Michael Reed to stand over it. He's the mastermind behind their set pieces usually. But there is that big left foot of Justin Davis. Matt LaGrassa wants to get involved. Liam Doyle looks like he wants to have a say about it as well.
If you're trying to inflict pain, my money's on Doyle. If you're trying to score, my money's on Reed.
No, it's prime pickings from Michael Reed, excuse me. Steps off though.
I mean, there's a quorum behind the ball right now.
Just keep an eye on the far post. Alan Wynn drifting over a bit. Wouldn't expect to see something played there, but he is unmarked. You've got Kosuke on the near post too, if they wanted to get tricky.
Maloto has walked away. Put in play, Doyle, hit it low.
They do go for power. And when in doubt, you just pound it out. Good old-fashioned touch, stop, hit. Try and move the ball outside of the wall. You just move it to the right, put it on that left foot of Liam Doyle, and make Vega guess exactly where it's going to go. Couldn't get enough behind it, blasted it right in.
Come back to Vega. Vega's been impressive. He spent the last few years at Miami FC. Before that was in Cyprus. Played for the Argentine superpower River Plate. Has seen his time around the block. And they needed a goalkeeper. If they get a first choice goalkeeper, perfect. That's exactly what they found of late. Doyle gets over the top of Guinzotti. Good effort from Cole. Taku. Taku looking for Flemings. Can't leap quite that high. Vega's on it. "37 goals this year for the Rowdies. 19 have come after the 60th minute. Both these teams can make a claim they're among the best late-game goal-scoring squads in the USL. Teams that will wear you down for 90 minutes and at the end come and steal a result. Fleming's coming after Pickens. Snuck by Cole. Akinyoti. Maloto. Davis, who cut his teeth at Minnesota United previously, 3 times league best 11. So LaGrassa and Nashville trying to find that go-ahead goal. On the ground for LaGrassa, and swerved in Hopper that's handled by Vega. On the other foot for sure. Last time these teams met in June, Nashville was in the throes of their U.S. Open Cup run. Rowdies eliminated right off the bat in the competition. That really ended up being the final nail in the coffin for Stuart Campbell, the head coach. Now it's Nashville off 10 days rest against a busy Rowdy side. Flemings, it's an own goal off of Woodbury. Unbelievable. The Rowdies get the bounce they've waited a season for. And in Nashville, it's 2-1 Tampa Bay.
We've been critical of the Rowdies in the final third and their decision making. Now the question mark. Should Doyle have gone with Junior Flemings? He doesn't. He steps back into the middle to allow the ball to be played. If he goes with Junior Flemings, this ball might not make it into the box. Instead, Michael Reed has to track back to help out in transitional play, and London Woodbury makes an absolute mess of it. Matt Pickens can't believe it, and this crowd is silent.
This game, this year for Woodbury has just been a little bit nightmarish. Incredible previous accolades in his career. Last 3 years with New England Revolution. Highly celebrated signing, still just 26 years old entering the season. And it was injuries and, well, Bourgeois come along taking the gig. Center back right out from under him. And with Bourgeois being injured earlier in the match, Woodbury thrust into the situation and just horribly unlucky not to steer that a little bit better. But for the Rowdies, they face that misfortune seemingly every turn this year.
They'll take it any way they can get it. Remember, undefeated when they've scored 2 or more goals. So the record looking nice for the Tampa Bay Rowdies on the road, mind you. Haven't been very well in performance away from Al Lang, but a great opportunity here to get 3 points. But the response from Nashville last time was very impressive. Again, no one put their head down. They got back to the task at hand. Gary Smith's going to remind his boys plenty of time here to play.
Davis for LaGrassa, that'll fly out of play. And again, Nashville has not won a game in which they've conceded 2 or more. 0-7-1 draw. It's just really funny because in April, if you said the Rowdies went on the road to Nashville, you might be surprised, you know, road win, that was few and far between last year. But you wouldn't say it was a shock upset. Right now, it would sort of have the feel of a bit of a shock upset, wouldn't it?
The way things have played themselves out, absolutely.
Looks like Guinzotti got knocked on the face. So the athletic trainers all come out to attend. The entire bench up at arms.
Our referee actually blew a foul against Guinzotti in this situation. He went to ground immediately, wincing in pain. The referee calling the technical staff to come out and take a look at him.
Guinzotti moved to the United States from Montevideo at 12 years of age. Was out of Huracan there, the same club that brought Kaku to New York Red Bulls. What an incredible run he's had. Was with New York Cosmos 2016 and tore his ACL right in the midst of a flurry of issues around that league, and to their immense credit, Guinzotti and the club finding some ways to continue forward in his progression back from that ACL tear. But in reality, his form did dip, and they were remarkably impressed. How a guy came in middle last year, played in 11 games, dealt with that dip in form, and almost instantly came back to practice as the professional that Neil Collins was looking for, and that's gotten him in the order again as Brandon Allen has come on.
Tucker Hume definitely served his purpose. It's that missed opportunity in the first half that will come back to haunt him. Still can't believe that didn't find the back of the net after he did such a good job, so graceful bringing down the ball behind the back line of the Rowdies, trying to pick out that far post. Daniel Vega not able to make a save on it, but just not enough power. And then the service. Nice little gift from Justin Davis, great ball to Meloto. Thought he had found net. Daniel Vega coming up with another great save. His night will be done. Stuff from Tucker Hume, but now Brandon Allen. Acquisition, and there's another one coming on. Taylor Washington getting involved in the act.
Replaces Alan Wynn.
You wonder with Brandon Allen, things just very up and down in his career. Former New York Red Bull, and thought maybe that would have worked out for him at Bethlehem Steel. It didn't. Goes another direction. That organization giving him an opportunity, and he came out with a massive spark when he came into Nashville. Cooled off a bit, but again, he's so talented. Great opportunity. They'd love to get him involved here, get him back on track, get involved in that playoff run.
Former USL Rookie of the Year at New York Red Bulls and the USL Cup MVP. As Guinzotti isn't off the field, no, he's changed numbers. He's now number 98. And he's playing up front. He's still got his number 13 shorts on. Attack is on here. Portillo's, Guinzotti trying to square this up. Little back heel. We're not on the same page. He's got a bandage there on his chin.
That's the trailing arm. That caught him. Of the cleat. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the boot catches the bottom. Guinzotti tangled up with Kosuke, but the studs coming up, grabbing him right on the bottom of his chin. Got an even nice little mark. Fortunately for him, the kit manager had something to say about that. Had no problem. Thought he was going to get to go home from school early.
The kit manager was carrying an extra number 98. You couldn't find a number a little more, a little closer. Nashville has scored 13 goals this year in the final 15 minutes plus stoppage of games. Of their 29, now 30, including today's first half goal. So 13 of their 30 goals come in the final quarter hour plus. Team's offense that is as difficult to maintain as their defense has been impressive this year. Davis, good combination. Washington shoved aside. The goal kick for Vega.
Crowd not happy with the referee, but this is great defending by Hunter Gorski. She uses that body, big frame, pushes things aside. Vega coming over as well.
Of course, Nashville playing host to Gold Cup next year. They're up for a potential World Cup hosting situation 2026, and they hosted the national team against Mexico. Guinzotti here been calling it the summer of soccer. They hope there's an autumn to follow. Flemings fires it, and it ricochet out. Corner coming for the Rowdies.
I respect the way you put that, the situation, the massive amount of sites rotating around the United States.
Who knows? It's unclear.
Too many.
We'll figure it out, maybe. Be a bit of a surprise if Pickens were to taste defeat against his former Rowdy compatriots. Put in play. Settled by Gorski toward the back post. Far for Diakite. And it did take a touch on the way. Could be a massive moment here for the Rowdies. Service for Diakite. He knew that was too strong. He'll catch up to this in the corner. The center back goes to work. Roseboom. Diakite caught by Pickens, who, along with Kosuke Kimura, won the MLS Cup in Colorado. Perhaps it's only right that both reach their 300th appearance this year in Nashville under that coach that led them to that promised land, Major League Soccer, Gary Smith. Kyle Porter waiting to come on. Rowdies looking to make a more defensive move. When you spoke formation, Neil Collins isn't really one for that kind of talk to begin with, but spoke about the 3-back and the 4-back look they could have. Said, really, we've only gone to the 4-back when we're trying to ice a game.
You're going to get that chance now, and they're actually going to tidy things up even further. Kyle Porter traditionally used on the right side. He was here last year and then took off in the offseason. Thought he might get a chance with Popovich heading over to Ottawa. Things just didn't really work out. System change there. He fell out of favor. They bring him back over in July. Maybe a second chance on life here for Kyle Porter.
Wawu Poku comes out, and it was his absurdly good ball in the 6th minute that set up the penalty that wrist off both Drew and then took.
Excellent vision coming out of the midfield. Just slid it right in behind. Forward wrist off, all on the ground too. Just dissecting the Nashville back line. Oh, Nashville has been the better squad. Tampa Bay out in front by 1. Gary Smith trying to find a way. He's moved all of his pieces around. No more subs for him. This is going to be the last one for the Rowdies. Classy performance by Kwadwo Poku. He was great in the middle of the field.
Porter's first substitute appearance for the Rowdies this year. He has started 4 times. A Canadian, 28 years of age, who featured 3 times for Ottawa. And to your previous point, just fell out of favor with Nikola Popovich in his home country. Was with the Rowdies last year. Played in 11 games, started 10, and with the Fury the year before that, 2016. So I think it's more of a round-trip ticket than a one-way for him, as Doyle in the midst of it all.
Good addition for the Rowdies. Definitely someone who maybe contractually things just didn't work out in the offseason. They saw different directions that this team was heading in, both from a personnel standpoint as well as financially. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. Good job by the organization bringing him back in.
by the same token, I don't think you thought McCandweary and Collins. And of course, last year they let Damian Lowe walk, who was probably their most dynamic defender centrally. I don't think they quite knew they'd need Porter as much as they did. Good ball over the top for Allen. And Vega streaks out and collects. Look at this back line, and Zach Portillo's in and out of the lineup. Taku entering the equation this year. Gorski entering middle of last year. Diakite entering in July. That's that just out of the reach of Allen. Flemings went down really, really late whistle from Malik Badawi. Which isn't to say I think he's wrong, but it was really late.
Fans not happy either. Diakite having a few words with our referee. Badawi just calming him down a touch. Just a few minutes remaining in this game, and Nashville would like to see things pick up a bit more. Junior Fleming's involved on that oh so crucial goal. It's going to end up as an own goal in the back of the net, but he was vital that it was able to get there. Liam Doyle didn't shift over, waited for Michael Reed in support. You're going to get a look at exactly what went on, trailing. And he drags his foot a touch. Not too much there.
John Freeman might say, stylish, sensational, the Nashville DNA. They've scored all these late goals. They've had some really incredible late results this year. And with the clock ticking up toward 5 minutes remaining, I don't think anybody in the stadium right now is writing them off, including the Rowdies. But you'd probably argue this is the best road win they'd pick up in maybe 3 years.
I was waiting for you to say like 3 months, and like much longer than that. Yeah, if they can see this out, you're spot on. And it hasn't been the best performances either. Not from what we've seen in the Rowdies in the past. Nashville definitely having the better run of play overall, but again, it just maybe a little bit too little, too late. Didn't close their opportunities in the first or second half. Tucker Hume with his look. So a couple set piece opportunities wasted. Liam Doyle blasted one off the wall. And it really hit a lull around the 55th mark. And you thought, okay, this might be it. 1-1 seems fitting at this point in time. Junior Flemings comes on, has something to say about that. He's been semi-decent.
Ball streaked through, keeping it alive now. And the save by Pickens, down on all fours. And Portillo's had come forward. He left a bit of a hole. And there he is, he's recovered now.
London Woodbury is having an absolute nightmare on that back line. Liam Doyle came over, got lucky, and the ball just bounced right off of him to Pickens, luckily. Headed in that direction. It was one-on-one for sure. Could have easily ended up in the back of the net. He's got to be better in his decision-making.
Here comes Taku. Taku on the ground and handled by Pickens, who's keeping Nashville in it here. And he's gesturing forward. Vega will grab it with Allen on the move. Flemings wants it at his feet. Oh, he's through now, and Pickens able to dive aside and pull it in. This game is as wide open as you can imagine.
Not exactly sure that's going to bode well for Nashville, but they've got to bear down now, lock it up, and find a way to get back in, get a game-tying goal. They need 3 points.
Those games in hand give them a little more leeway, but they want to be above the playoff line at the end of the night. They'll need 3 points to do it. While the Rowdies can move within 4 points of the playoffs. And in the end, there may only be room for one of these teams. Flemings is still down, kicking his feet. Here comes Nashville. There's the service for LaGrassa. Reed threw his foot out, didn't collect. Hickens will run over. It's a little early for dump and chase.
Well, referee's not going to blow the whistle here for Flemings either. He needs to get up. That was a great challenge by Liam Doyle. He's really hanging his team out to dry right now. Needs to get back and help defend. You're giving Nashville a manned opportunity here over the past 90 seconds or so.
Washington, a second half substitute. Allen dropping in. Akinioti for Allen, the outstanding goal scorer. New York Red Bulls 2 of years past. Washington hurling over LaGrassa. And the Rowdies will collect from the Rowdies and try and drain the clock a bit further. Those 10 newcomers, the Rowdies mid-season. Vega drives it away. Neil Collins said it might be cliche, but one game at a time right now. 3 games down the road doesn't matter if you don't start collecting wins. I said momentum-wise, they haven't put 2 together yet this year, 2 straight wins. They're on the verge. Should be a lot of stoppage time. Driving in and knocked aside. Flemings trying to hold up play, get by Akinioti. Woodbury involved in slowing him down. 90 minutes gone, 5 minutes. 5 minutes of added time. Neil Collins and the Rowdy bench, arms extended, won't get the whistle here. Time to tighten up if you're the Rowdies. Nashville continuing their pressure. They let them off the hook for the moment.
Legs getting a little heavy for Kosuke. Rowdies not happy with the dramatics by Junior Flemings. Can't believe Kimura gave the ball away. Excellent opportunity for Nashville. He served in some very dangerous service in the opening 45 minutes, but the craftiness we saw by Nashville in the first half really didn't funnel over here into the second.
Flemings is down. Roseboom standing over him, his teammate 25 in green and gold. Flemings 10 goals last year. He was exceptional against the Rowdies with New York Red Bulls too, which is part of the reason why they brought him in the first place. He spent 4 years to Tivoli Gardens and has played with the Jamaican national team, debuting before last year's Gold Cup against French Guiana. Guy who initially trialed with Red Bull, spent a couple years with their USL side before moving on to the Rowdies. But Flemings has spent a lot of time in the second half injured on the ground.
It's crazy to go over his resume and think about everything he's been through so far. Still only 22
yeah.
years of age. I mean, I'm confused even saying it. So young, a lot of talent there. Although the Rowdies would like him to take his talents elsewhere at this point in time.
Well, they don't have any options. They can't go any further. Another look at this, and Woodbury and him jostling for sure.
Not enough there. It's coming back around here on the outside turn. got into it early on with Liam Doyle, this time with London Woodbury.
And look, you want him to be all right. On the other hand, 2 minutes of stoppage time been wasted on this, and I don't think Malik Badawi is going to forget. Nashville is going to have a very long leash here, I think, at the end. Fleming's waved back into the game. Kimura throws. Woodbury collects his own goal right now, the difference. Ball headed down in front, stabbed down by Allen. Vega's there, gets a nice kiss on the head. Diakite.
The extremities for Diakite just winning this battle against Brandon Allen. The two going tit for tat right at the top of the box. Brandon Allen tries to get his foot on it. Diakite does such a good job. Deflects off. Vega collects. You can see the two of them shoulder to shoulder. Nice battle in the middle of the box. Allen just can't get to it.
Allen, you mentioned it, came in, had that great big debut, scored in his debut. 2 goals last time out, both penalties. Fleming's trying to get that service off and really well handled. Here comes Nashville. 5th minute of stoppage time. Be up to the referee how much further he's going to be willing to give with the injury that came in stoppage. Woodbury off of Fleming's. Reed trying to keep this alive. On 4 by Davis.
Our referee has something to say about the juggling skills by Daniel Vega. Very polite from the, not even ball boy, ballman behind the goal to hand it to the goalkeeper right away, and he decided he was gonna get involved in some extracurriculars. Didn't realize the goalkeeper could juggle that well.
Rowdies better not get too comfortable. There should be a little time left here. That won't be enough. Still work to do, but right now there's a bit of a smirk. Contemplative Neil Collins. Maybe the biggest win of his coaching tenure, if they can finish it out. It'd have to be. Nashville just has not been able to get a grip on the ball. Maybe now's their chance. Ooh. That is immediate. A yellow card when Zadi went in Kimura.
This will be the last chance for Nashville. You've got that gray area of about 30, 45 seconds. It was right around 2 minutes or so through the antics of Junior Fleming's. Can they produce anything out of it?
LaGrassa, get out in front, saved, Vega, follow-up is up and over. Allen robbed, and Maloto can't seal the deal. And this Music City miracle not meant to be. Biggest win of the year for the Rowdies.
This was it, right for the taking. On the doorstep, Vega solidifies victory for the Rowdies. What a ball played in. Oh, you think Allen's gonna find the back of the net? He doesn't. Maloto had to be him if he was gonna make this a game. How could he not close that out?
Still a little work left to do. Full time, the Rowdies win it on the road. An own goal that keeps their playoff hopes beating into the final half dozen games. Neil Collins' biggest win as a head coach. It comes with finally that little bit of luck that they've been lacking all year long. Ristoff against his former teammate, his 300th appearance sullied tonight because of this own goal from Woodbury. Pickens falls, Nashville falls. They're below the playoff line for the night. The Rowdies rise 2-1. Incredible finish to the USL Game of the Week. The Tampa Bay Rowdies now 4 points out of the playoffs and 2 points away from Nashville. NSC still in the midst of it all. They have games in hand on just about everybody, but this one's going to hurt. Their third loss of the year at home. As we look at the full-time highlights with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts alongside in this 6th minute, Pickens going in on Ristoff, who gets a penalty and sinks it.
It's all about the ball in to Ristoff that dissects the back line of Nashville. Ristoff steps up, just buries it right down the middle. Pickens wasn't happy with the referee's decision, but it was definitely a PK, and the veteran just showed what he's capable of in pressure point situations. Cool, calm, and collected. 1-0 Rowdies.
He went 2 months without a goal. Poku setting him up, and in the end, it's on the penalty that he does score. 20th minute, the response from Lebo Meloto.
Phenomenal from the home squad. Did not put their heads down, continued that high energy and emotion. Meloto was wandering a bit in the opening 15 minutes. This time he wanders himself into a great position, solidified by nice ball in by Kosuke, gets it to 1-1, and then Nashville really took over. Tucker Hume had an opportunity at the close of the first half, should have done better here. Great job to bring it off his chest. Diakite clears it off the line.
That in the 43rd minute. Hume a bit unlucky. We go to the second half. Hume on the other end of it, finding Meloto at the opposite post, and many good reaction saves from Vega.
Most people, including myself, thought Justin Davis was going to have a crack. Gives it to Hume, who finds Meloto, can't finish it off. Vega would make quite a few saves in the second half. And then this happens. The magician that is Neil Collins brings on his substitute Junior Flemings. Lady Luck shone bright on the Jamaican. Own goal to the back post. They jump out to 2-1. London Woodbury had a dreadful evening on the back line.
He came in for an injured player in Bourgeois in the 69th minute. 2-1 to the Rowdies, but still 20 minutes to go. And one of the best teams in late game scenarios comes this close. Allen and Meloto both stymied by Vega.
We said Collins was the magician. How about the magic man, Gary Smith, trying to make a move with Brandon Allen? He makes a great run to the near post. Excellent save from Vega, and Meloto made an absolute mess of it right on the doorstep to get his squad even. Couldn't finish it off. What a victory by the Rowdies on the road.
Phoenix could well be the #1 seed in the West. FC Cincinnati almost assuredly the #1 seed in the East and perhaps the regular season champion, so there's a lot on the line here.
Possibility for one of the teams in the West to cast NC Cincinnati, but it's very slim. You should expect Alan Koch and his boys to solidify the Shield, grab the #1 in the East. Phoenix looking to grab #1 in the West.
And Las Vegas dealing with the loss of Chalise, and Richmond, a founding member of USL D3, so a lot going on there. For our director, Igaj Nostelit, our producer, Iba Etnopa, and Asaj Oseub, Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watts, saying thanks for watching. The Rowdies needed this as much as any game they've ever played in this league, and they got it. 2-1 win with the bounce they need, and they're 4 points from playoff contention. Thanks for watching, and good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.